Hey everyone, it's Andrew Arden here. Full name is Andrew Arden Witter. This is going to be the first podcast ever that I've done solo like this. I've made videos solo, sure, but it's officially a podcast because I gave this thing a name, and the name of it is called Endless Curiosity with Andrew Arden. All of my digital social media digital names I tried to make it Andrew Arden. Arden's my middle name. My full name, once again, is Andrew Arden Witter. Um, so yeah, I'll probably go between the two. Who knows? So yeah, I mean, for those who don't really necessarily know me or want to get to know me more before I talk about what this podcast is going to be and some of the topics I'll cover, um, I think these two examples encompass me pretty well. So the first one is this car thing that I'm going through right now. My car runs okay. It's a 2011 Ford Taurus with 193,000 miles on it, and 195 ish. And there are a couple things going wrong with it, like it needs a new CV joint in the front passenger side. Doing it yourself, that's still $200 to $500 for the piece itself. If you junkyard it, it could be a little cheaper, but then it's not brand new. The driver's side heated seat doesn't work. That could be a couple $100 easily, even if you DIY it. And I've also got a weird neutral connection to my battery, so sometimes my car, um, the battery will just die when you turn it on or try to turn it on and then turn it off. So like today, I pull up to the house, turn my car off, and everything just powered down. Doof. And then I open up the hood. I literally tap the neutral side, and I hear a click into the fuse box, and then bam, car's fine again. So I'm it's happening more frequently. So I'm just on the edge of, do I keep dumping money into this, or do I get something new? All that to say, this is how my brain thinks. So I've done extensive research on depreciation on cars, cost of the car over the term of at least a loan, for example. And the brands, I'm looking for something higher MPG. I defined what my needs and wants were, and I've come now to extensive conversations with Gemini and ChatGPT. By the way, can you believe ChatGPT now? They've totally pay gated it to, you get X amount of basically messages a day, and then you're cut off for free. You've got to pay extra for it. You get unlimited at Gemini. You can talk to it all day. Some of the features are gate kept, like Gemini Advance. You gotta pay for that, but you get one, two, three, four, five different models, all for free, unlimited. So I like ChatGPT. It's nice, but I don't know. It rubbed me a little bit the wrong way. I get it, you gotta make money, but I mean, if I'm doing a freemium over here, I'm gonna probably go more on the Gemini now. Um, and also, some of the verbiage ChatGPT uses is just so whack. Have you noticed that? Like, it will be cool and hip sometimes, or try to be, and it's a little bit strange. Anyway, so I've had extensive conversations with ChatGPT, and I like Lexuses. I like the way they look. They're Toyota backed cars, so they run good. They're better on the depreciation side of things. They retain the value of the vehicle. They run for a long period of time with low maintenance expenses. Same goes for Toyota. So I'm kind of now narrowed in on like a Toyota Prius, a Lexus CT 200H, a Lexus ES hybrid 300H, and the kind of like the cheaper of the few options with still good MPG and still good reputation is the Hyundai um, Elantra. And so anyway, I'm doing more research on these, on just like the overall estimated cost of ownership over I would probably do like a 5-year loan, maybe a 6 on some of the newer ones that probably go 6. Um, but like I'm looking at more like a 2013 Toyota. That would probably be more a 5-year loan. A 2013 Lexus, so similar again, still probably 5-year loan, maybe 6 on that. It's anyway because they're a little more expensive. But I've been doing some research here, and I've got all the numbers on estimated cost of ownership, the monthly. So when my brain goes in, like I'm diving deep and trying to quantify and put myself in that position on having to pay and having to take that, hit every month after the newness is doled down, and now I've got a car payment and a car to deal with. Is it reliable? Am I not going to worry about maintenance? Is it going to be lesser on the level of headaches? Is it going to, a want? Is it going to look nice when I pull up? Will it? I would really, really want great gas mileage. All of these get combined 35 miles to the gallon or greater. I mean, the hybrids, the Prius gets like 48. The CT gets like 42. The Hyundai gets 35, and the Lexus hybrid gets, I think, like 40 again too. So, that's super important for me, and that I own it outright, so I'm not leasing. So I've got all these, nooks and crannies. I could go on. This is just the tip of the iceberg. I could go on and on and on. So that's a little bit about me, how my brain works. Um, Analytical, looking at things from all sides. But I'm not gonna ignore my wants and not ignore my needs. Another little thing about me is, some of I'm spiritual. I take spirituality seriously, and these are my mala beads. And although mala isn't of the Hindu tradition, or traditionally, no pun intended there, I would say my journey to the mala bead has been one through Ram Dass. That was a big one. The first uh, kind of how do I want to put it? I arrived to more of this open method of spirituality through Ram Dass, and he talked about his mala beads. And as I got more and more into Zen Buddhism, I was actually given beads, and there's a difference between Buddhist beads and Hindu beads. But I've chosen to on an everyday basis wear the Hindu beads for a number of reasons. One, um, the structure of these just happen to be more resilient, like for everyday wear. They are more accessible and easy to find where I live, and it keeps me to more of my roots. And I'm actually going to go over a Twitter post today that I made, um, and I'll deep dive in a little bit of that. But it kind of breaks down why I think methods are overhyped. So, like, my method of awakening might be Christianity, someone might say, or my method of the highest virtue is um, Muslim Islamic traditions. Um, some people just say overall spirituality, and I'm a herbalist, or yoga, or Hinduism, or Buddhism. All of these are methods to achieving the highest of virtues. And so for me, having something that is, although I do identify as a Buddhist, having something that is technically non-Buddhist on me, that is very personal and uh, helpful in my awakening, having to be separate is separate from the thing I would say I identify with, is good, and it keeps things loose, and that's important for me. So yeah, those are two things about me. All the other stuff, I'm sure over time will be divulged. Um, what is this podcast? What topics are we covering? What made me do this? One, I just want to talk about the things that I find super interesting, hence the curiosity piece of the endless curiosity name. So, just some podcast topics we'll cover. We're going to cover all of these today, but entheogens. What is an entheogen? It is a plant, herb, or fungus that invokes the experience and feeling of God, or of, and with a lowercase g, some uppercase g, God, or something far beyond comprehension. You can Google a more analytical definition. Entheogenic news, so like how the decriminalize and the legalization of these um, currently prohibited things that grow naturally most of the time. And this even includes some also synthetic things like MDMA and LSD, and those are still prohibited drugs, obviously. But I want to keep some fresh news going here and keep people up to date on how things are going there, because I truly believe it's important that we all, for those who are curious, have access to it safely. And um, Also, brand growth hacks. Just another fun thing. I think ideas in businesses in particular have the power to change the world for a better place. So, understanding how to grow one's brand, especially from an artistic perspective, is very near and dear to my heart. So, that's something we'll be talking about. Interesting guests, people that I find to be super interesting. I just want to have interesting conversations with them. That's another thing we'll find here on this podcast. Anything interesting at all that I find interesting, I'll be sharing. Spirituality, I'll be sharing more of that. A lot of people come to me with questions on Buddhism, and I'll talk about all those some of those basics. And I'll have my hopefully my Dharma teacher on here. That'll be a lot of fun. Also, just life updates and fun things that are kind of coming to be in my existence. Breaking down some of my content that I've created. I think kind of talking about some of the behind the scenes is interesting. Today we'll do that with my X account, and we'll go through and talk about some of the Twitter X posts that I've made. I give a lot of those actually a lot of thought. Some of those X posts might only have 20, 30, 40 words in them, but it might take me 20 or 30 minutes just to make the post. So each word's very intentional. I'd love to break those down. And a movement, dance, music, drums. I kind of have all pointed, all connected together. MDMD is because, well, for me, they are all connected. I do believe music and dance are so interconnected, and drums for me and movement. So I'll break some of those things down. I really enjoy. I think it's a practical for anyone who has a set of ears, eyes, and is able to move their body. I truly believe that something like movement, dance, music, drums, learning about that is very helpful. Especially for those who are interested in music and like music, you want to know more about your training and movement and dance. And I'll talk about some of the fun things that I found along the way of my journey. And anything else that I'm curious about, then that's really most of the topics. Um, and I'm also open to any sort of suggestions people want to talk about, hear about, or curious about. So yeah, please, this is interactive. Um, cool. So that's kind of like the big intro of the podcast. I want to spend a little bit of time now going over a couple X posts that I've made. Let's look here. I've got. You can find me on X. It's Andrew _ Arden. I think Andrew Arden was already taken. And I'm like, excuse me, but I'm the only Andrew _ Arden though, so you can find me there. So the Twitter post, X post, whatever the heck it's called. Our method to achieving highest conceivable virtue is just that, a method, not enlightenment itself. A lot of times people use the word enlightenment just to describe a new idea or concept. Oh, this person, enlightened me on this thing. And I really want to encourage people to not use that word enlightenment for something that lacks virtue and merit. If it has great virtue and great merit, use the word enlightenment. You're doing the word a disservice, and it's for me as someone who spends a lot of time reading that word over and over again in my sacred Buddhist texts. Not mine. Well, I guess I own the book. In the sacred Buddhist texts that I read, and then I hear someone online use the word and has really no idea of this sort of relevance of the origin of that word, I would say it's disrespectful. So something to think about. And I'm sure there are words out there that frustrate other people that I use too. And we're all working together here for a greater reality. But this is my challenge for you is to think about before I use the word enlightenment. I encourage people too who don't use it to use it, and those who use it all the time, I would say be more cautious. The Buddha never taught enlightenment. Think about that one. You're going to say, oh, he used the word all the time, but he never taught enlightenment. He never did. Because enlightenment, even thoughts and notions and ideas, can be conveyed through words, but enlightenment is only experienced by oneself. use the word if it has great context of great virtue and great merit. You can use the word enlightenment. That is a very, very green light there. And I'm not the enlightenment word police. I'm not the word, but just think about that for a moment. There are some sacred terms like that that have really incredible, beautiful meanings behind them. So let's just not throw them around. Another one that I had beginning this month. It's a quote from the wonderful Mr. Paul Chek from the. He did a podcast with Aubrey Marcus. It's older. I think you can find it digitally older. I think it's like 5 or 6 years old. It's actually not that old, but from a digital standpoint, it's history. It's on Paul Chek's channel. You can look it up. His quote that really stuck out to me was, "It takes a lot of courage to listen to our heart. We aren't taught to listen to our heart. We are taught to listen to our head, and our head is a dangerous dictator." Um, you can find that in every spiritual text, just about. All the ones that follow, I think, real truth and not manipulation. This is true. It's a body. It's described as presence in the body. It's described as through one's heart and being open and compassionate and kind. Um, this notion of not being taught is really interesting because it is so true. We are programmed for, just starting off as a little one, right? That a lot of things are with our head. A lot of things are thought through, think it through. We suppress intuition. We suppress our hearts. We suppress our emotions, especially in the what I was raised, the American culture and the Midwest culture, is to suppress those things. Here he's challenging us to recognize that and then to actually lead with our heart and listen with our heart and be in our bodies. Um, Great, wonderful stuff. And if you know anything about Paul Chek, he's a very, very credible person and extremely knowledgeable. So when he says something like this, it has great weight. It's not just someone who's just saying nice words. This man lives and breathes what he says. So um, something really to think about. Listen to our hearts. I reposted another thing a couple months ago, the power of sound, and it's a video of Paul Stamets talking about how he has recognized that the sound is, I guess, a sound that we create next to a mycelium network. So, guys who know Paul Stamets, he's like the mushroom man. He's knows all things mycology and mushrooms. He's very famous for it too. He's been on Joe Rogan a few times. He has shows, movies, that sort of thing. He's got a big mushroom brand. He he talks about there's science to prove that mycelium networks, which if you know what mycelium networks are, it's the substrate. Well, I guess it lives in a substrate, which can be dirt. It's typically underground. We don't really see it. It's like a white substance. You can look it up. It's what are the roots, although it's not roots. They're mycelium, but we could say roots, for lack of a better term, of the fruiting body, which is the mushroom. The mushroom is the fruiting body of the mycelium network. Mycelium network responds to sound. So in the video that I shared on my X, he breaks down his theory, and but more of a pretty well backed hypothesis that our ancient predecessors, thousands of years ago, when they were around the fire, playing the drums and making sounds, that the mycelium network, which um, reacted to this, and actually it would help promote the moving of nutrients. So mycelium actually connects trees, it connects plants to it sends information, it sends nutrients. This is reactive to its surroundings. So by us playing and singing and dancing around the fire, it actually would encourage the mycelium network to send nutrients and to send information, and it helped, kind of get the movement going, which it's moving. Pretty interesting stuff. So yeah, I think this is a good stopping point for today. Talked about a few different fun little ideas. Feel free to follow me look up me up anywhere, Andrew Arden, even on LinkedIn. I'm Andrew Arden, And another fun thing that I'm a part of is called Art Arbor. Feel free to check that out on all social media platforms. I encourage anyone here who's listening to subscribe. We're looking forward to the conversations ahead with really wonderfully interesting people. So thanks for sticking around today and enjoy the sunshine or the clouds.